Hello, Finxters, and welcome. In this video, I'm going to give you a summary of an article I did recently on what you need to know before you begin trading Forex with robots or learning Python. I've been trading Forex with robots long before I started learning Python, and if I had it to do over, I would do that in reverse. And I'll tell you why. First, Python is easier. I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. You can get started with Python and in a very short time start freelancing and making some money. And I'm assuming you're interested in Forex to make money. Second, if you put that same amount of time into learning Forex and start to trade real money, the statistics show that you will get killed. Forex is a zero-sum game. Remember that. Third, if you're going to trade with robots, you're going to need to be able to do some code. You cannot rely on someone else's system to trade yours. So with that in mind, let's go over to our slides. And number one here, there's an old saying that the best time to start something was 10 years ago. The second best time is right now. If you haven't done it, you haven't done it. So really the best time to begin a project is right now. And we've already talked a little bit about making money as a freelancer with Python. So let's move down here to business owner mindset. You've got to get yourself into, if you're going to be a retail trader, a freelancer with Python, an entrepreneur, you've got to get into the mindset of this is a business. It's your own business, and there's different responsibilities than there is being an employee. It has a lot of bonuses. You have the time to do these things and work on envisioning yourself as a business and what it takes to run a business. But really concentrate on that and get yourself in the mindset of being a business owner. That's going to be your first thing, no matter whether it's trading or Python. So let's go over to Jupyter Notebooks and get started with Python. Hit that down. Okay, here we go. Now what you're seeing here is a Jupyter Notebook. This is another very powerful tool that Python has to offer. So let's get right into it. This is actually my Anaconda Python distribution where I have Jupyter Notebooks. Take note of that. Anaconda and Jupyter Notebooks. That's something you might want to jot down and take a look at for future reference. But let's jump right into some Python. So this first box here is called a cell in Jupyter. And we can run our first cell, which is text, and I'll get into that. Run that cell. So we have some text here. Not only can we do code in Jupyter, but we have text. And you can see that it's marked down in these first three cells. So I'm going to run the next two, which are text. And instead of going up to the run button, up to this run button here, I can actually use a keyboard shortcut, which is another really awesome tool for that Jupyter has, is Shift Enter. So I go Shift Enter, run that one, Shift Enter, run that one. Okay, now you can see on this cell, we've switched to some code, and then this has changed to code up here. So that's really a cool feature. And then with the Python function, if you're going to be coding bots, you're going to need to get familiar with Python functions. This is actually jumping ahead quite a bit, but you'll be fine. Just follow along and you'll pick this up as you go and hopefully learn a few things about Python as we go along. Okay, so first of all, in this cell, we've got define a simple function. This hash mark in front of that tells a Python that this is a comment. It's not part of the code, and so it's not going to read it that way. Next, we have the def keyword for defining our function. We name the function sum, pass it two parameters in parentheses, x and y in this case, followed by a colon. And then we have a comment explaining what we're doing here. And then when we hit enter, you can see that we're already indented. Indentation is a big thing in Python. That lets me know that this next line is part of inside this sum function. And then we're going to return x plus y. Now, when we run this, you can see, there we go, that we don't get any output from this. All we've done is define the function. So in order to get output from the function, we need to call our function. We simply use the function name, add two parameters. In this case, we're going to put 5 and 5. Let me fix that. That's wrong. There we go. And so then when we run this, there's our output of 10. Okay, it has summed 5 and 5. And that's pretty cool. The beauty of the functions is that I can write these two short lines of code, and then later on, when I call it, it's just this little snippet of code that I have to put in to perform this action on these two arguments. And hopefully you can see the power in this kind of a thing. I know this is very basic, but the power in being able to write these code ahead of time and then just call it up and do whatever we've programmed it to do is really super powerful. So let's try one that's a little more involved here. For this particular function, we'll need the Python math module. So we're going to import math, and then I'm going to put math.py, and then I'll run that cell. Oh, there we go. Okay, and see, our output is the pi, the number pi. Okay, so now let's jump down. We've got the math imported, and let's write our new function. So we use the def keyword again to define our function, and then we're going to name it volume with one argument, r, followed by the colon again. Now this next part with a triple quote, this is another form of a comment or a note called a docstring. And this is going to let us know if we're away from this and we come back in the future what we were doing here, or if someone else is reading our code, it makes it clear that what was going on for someone else. So variable v, we're going to assign it to this formula right here for calculating the volume of a sphere with a certain radius. So we've got 4 divided by 3 times, the asterisk is the times symbol in Python. Then we've got our math.py times r, our variable, 2 asterisks here is exponents. So this is r to the 3rd power. Okay, let's run that. Once again, no output. What do we have to do? We have to call our functions. So we put volume. In this case, we're going to use a radius of 2, right? And what do we get? There's our number. The volume of a sphere with a radius of 2 is 33.510321, and so on. Okay? Pretty cool. I know there's a lot for you to digest here, and that's fine. You'll get it. Just with consistent practice, you'll start to get these things, these basic things. The main point is I want to demonstrate Python's amazing math capabilities. It's one of my favorite things about the language. And there is a link in the article for a full demo of the math module. Very, very good. All right, with that, let's go back over to our slides and then jump down here. Okay, take a moment. I want you to read the disclaimer. I know I'm not teaching you to trade per se, but this is a habit we need to get into. So just take a moment and read the disclaimer. the key part of this, one of the things is think long term. Thinking long term, regardless of what part of this uh, video you're talking about, is the key. I know these days it's not fashionable to be patient, especially online, but be consistent and look long term, but also be cognizant of the short term victories. If your goal today is to learn to slice a list in Python and you do that, give yourself a thumbs up and know that it's one piece in the longer term plan. All right, now let's get into the trading section of the video. Um, talk about financial literacy to begin with. Studies show that 66% of adults in the US are financially illiterate. And I have links in the full article to those studies. These people believe that they are, they understand finance and money, but the reality is they really don't. If you're going to trade and have your own business, you'll need to learn the rules of the game. Write this down. Take a note here. Seek alternative education. That's our first key to financial literacy. You're not going to get it in the normal places. You're going to need to find alternative sources for your learning. And that's where finding a good mentor comes in. But first, we're going to dig in a little bit to what actually is Forex. Forex is short for foreign exchange, and it's the largest and most liquid market in the world. And I know that crypto is the big thing right now, and I have a crypto portfolio, but I would recommend starting with a more stable, mature market like Forex to begin. The good news is if you learn to trade the way that I'm talking about, the instrument doesn't really matter that much. Stocks, Forex, crypto, options, etc. You'll be a trader and you can pick the market that works best for you. Now on to finding a mentor. Finding a good mentor. This is an interesting part of the puzzle. Most new traders think there's a shortcut. You can copy what someone else does and make money like they do. And this is simply not true. You learn from your mentor and then you find your own style. The person that I learned robot trading from, the system that I use now is quite different from the system that he taught me, and I had to tweak it and build it to my own style so it would work for me. With that note, I will say that uh, robot automated trading is the only system that I've found that consistently makes profits over extended periods of time. Now, that's just me, but that's my take on it. Finding a good mentor is going to be really probably one of the most extensive projects that you have to take on. It's going to be the most work. You have to scour the internet. I went through thousands of people, and I feel like I've found four uh, over 10 years that are the real deal. And I will say, write this down as well. The number one rule when you're looking for a mentor is if you find someone that tells you that you're going to get rich quick, they're not the one. Move on, move away. One of my favorite teachers, and I'm not going to start listing out names in this particular video. I'll do that later. I'll give you some ideas and directions to go later. But he put it this way: blood, sweat, and tears for years. And that pretty much sums it up. You're going to have to work your butt off if you want to be a good trader. All right, so let's start to wrap things up a bit here. The first thing we've already talked about it: lose the lottery mindset. Uh, just start thinking long term. Build solid business foundations. Put systems into place. Um, and start thinking of yourself and transform yourself into a business owner and never stop improving. There's not an end to it. Everything is changing. You'll need to adapt and continue to learn uh, throughout the entire process. In summary, once again, talk about setting up systems, set goals, and outline the steps you're going to take in each area: Python, Forex, freelancing, or whatever's important to you. And also, just another quick note: don't leave out your health. That's as important as any of the others. Keep yourself healthy. Make sure you get plenty of sleep. That's one place where the robots come in big time. If you're finding that your system is effective during the London session and you're in the U.S., that staying up all night and trading and things it's just not going to be good for you. It's not going to work in the long run. You won't be able to do it. The next thing is to be consistent. Do a little bit every day. Don't skip. All right, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and do it, but do it every day. Uh, Gamify your process. That's an interesting one. Make it fun. Challenge yourself. Set up games, ways that you can challenge yourself and have fun with this. It shouldn't be a struggle. It really is. Python and freelancing, trading, whether it's Forex or crypto or whatever, is a lot of fun. So don't get too serious and make it drudgery. And then, in summary, I have a challenge for you. And what I want you to do is to go for 90 days. Take 90 days and try it out. Give this a shot and be consistent. 10, 20, 30 minutes a day, every single day. No holidays, no weekends. Just work on your business and your trading and your mindset for a little bit every single day. Do that for 90 days and see what happens. And I'm excited for you. And hopefully, I'll be able to help in the future. And good luck.